Hi everybody, I've already done a video about how to present your work and how to analyse a product, but what I thought I'd do is just without putting pen to paper, I'll just analyse this torch in a little bit more depth, because that may well help you. So we're going to use this mnemonic acronym EMMAS FEET, where each of the letters EMMAS FEET is basically a word that we link with to do with analysing actually this product, so it should help us. So the first E is for ergonomics, and you can't beat actually touching and feeling and having a bit of a play and exploring about, you know, how products go together and just weigh up how they work and the materials and so on and so forth. And really that's what I'm doing now. I'm just trying to have a look at this little torch and just weigh up what bit goes where and so on and so forth, because when you do analyse the product or you analyse anything, you can't always actually see, if you produce a photograph, what's going on inside. But you know, with good annotation, put your annotation arrow there, you can still comment. So first thing then is the ergonomics, and ergonomics is really to do with the things like, you know, how easy is this torch to is to grip, maybe the layout of it, the switch. What about the access to this switch? You could comment on that, and you can also look that that's got a little rough bubbly type finish. I don't know if you can see that or not, so that if my hands were slightly moist or sweaty or wet, you know, it makes for grip easy, and it's a nice push to make switch there. Also the fact that it's made from rubber ergonomically is nice, because it's comfortable in my hand. So the sort of thing with ergonomics, you know, is it easy to grip, is it easy to use, is it comfortable? That's the sort of thing that you might want to comment on. So manufacture, how's it been made? Now, it's not really that obvious how this has been made, but it's been made in industry. It would be mass produced by some sort of rubber, probably injection molding machines. You know, so that's the sort of thing that you might want to say. You might be able to find out how the lens has been made or how these parts have been fitted and so on and so forth. So it really depends on what the product is to how much depth you can go into. So what about the materials, the different materials that have been used? Well, I can see that here that we've got this plastic band here that is some type of plastic, and if I did remove this, there might be some identification marks actually on it that tell me what type of plastic's been used. Is it an ABS? Is it an acrylic or whatever? But essentially we've got an acrylic lens there that's been produced, and we've got rubber that's been molded here for the main body, and we've got a woven fabric wristband to hold it on the wrist. So there's a bit about materials. So the next one is the last part of Emma, for aesthetics. So what's the scale? What's the proportion? How large is it? Well, by my hand, and my hand's probably slightly above average, you know, it's quite a small torch. It's the shape of the torch aesthetically would fit well into my hand. It's rounded. It's got grip on it here and here and here. What colours have been used aesthetically? Well, we've got this fluoro green, which contrasts nicely with the black. I know from researching this type of torch, there's other types of torch also that have a different coloured band that means something else. So, you know, I quite like the contrast between these two colours. So aesthetically, that would appeal to me. Maybe for aesthetics as well, what graphics have been used. So I've got some manufacturer's information there, a bit of advertising. I've got some very small information here, which is I think it says dimmer, zoom out and zoom in. So there's been some sort of graphics put on here, and I can associate either with a quality product or so on and so forth. I could say that the design's quite eye-catching. It appeals to me. Again, that's a good place to possibly put in also some of your personal views. and opinions. So that's Emma. What about the S? Emma's feet. So the S would be for social and moral issues. Are there any recycling symbols on here to say that these parts have been manufactured from recyclable materials, or they could be recycled? Well, I could take this to pieces and I may find some or I may not. Are the instructions clear for usage? Well, in as far as English goes, yes, they are. Do the colours, are the colours more directed to one particular gender? Well, although this is black, that doesn't mean that it's more for males than females, because this could be produced in pink, if that's perceived as a more feminine colour, and so on and so forth. So in this case, you know, I don't think that this is directed at any one gender. Anything sort of offensive about the torch? Well, to me, it's just a torch. But again, this is a product nonetheless. Other products might be culturally insensitive how they've been designed. Is it safe to use? Yes, it is safe to use. It might not. There's no sharp corners. There's no bits that easily come off for choke hazards for young children or something like that. So there's, you know, a multitude of things for social and moral issues. So as far as feet goes, function. What's the function of the torch? Well, to turn on and off, to light up a particular area, to zoom in and out, it says, so to spread the angle of beam that actually that spreads something, maybe in more narrow intense light or more a spread light. So that's the function of it, to light up dimly lit areas. Economics. What would you estimate the cost of this? You know, $9.95, $12.95, $15. You may well be able to find out that information online, or if you've purchased one yourself, just keep your receipt and have a look. You know, and you could consider also what factors go towards coming to that cost. Materials costs, labour costs, machine costs, and of course advertising, shipment and profit and things like that. These are all things that you could consider in more depth depending on what the product is and the scale. Environment. What environment could the torch be used in? Well, this is clearly very waterproof. I've had a look at it inside already. You can use it in light conditions for signalling, dark conditions for lighting up an area, moist, wet, arid, humid, sunny, dull conditions. You know, it's a very versatile bit of kit, this one particular. Also, can any of the parts be recycled? You know, can some of these parts be unscrewed and used again when they're no good? Certainly the lens could be, those bands could be. So you can consider, as far as the environmental issues go, are there any parts hazardous to the environment? That's worth consideration also. Finally, the T in Emma's feet, the target market. Well, who's this torch aimed at? Well, I would have thought most people, to be honest. It's something that could be kept in a pocket or a glove box, or a small or large handbag or piece of luggage or something like that. It's good little travel rucksack, something like that. Good little travel item. So I would say this is aimed at males and females of many different ages, from teenage years upwards. So I would say the design fits most target markets. So I've done very much a verbal analysis of this torch with lots and lots of information, and a good, if you're going to analyse products well, like I've said to you, get your hands on them, have a look, be a little bit nosy, look at how bits go together, take an interest in the product, and you'll find it far, far easier to analyse and then annotate or verbalise your comments and your conclusions. So thanks very much for listening to this video. All that remains now is for you to have a go. Thanks very much.